this is Goran Itai, and today I would like to speak to you about how to build self-discipline for those who need it the most. Because arguably, those who need self-discipline the most are also those who are going to have the most difficulties actually developing it. But on the other hand, maybe not necessarily so. Those who are starting to work out, those who are starting to exercise, are those who see the most rapid results within a short period of time. So also in terms of self-discipline, if you don't have any and you just start working on it, then you'll see a tremendous result in a rather short amount of time. But how to get started? Well, first of all is understanding the value. And in this connection, I would like to share with you a story. There was a psychologist called Walter Mischel. He's the same guy, by the way, who did the marshmallow experiments, which you probably heard about. So Walter Mischel, a psychologist, he was doing these experiments where he would take patients and he would put little electrodes on their heads so that he could run brain scans and see what's actually going on the inside of the head when they're thinking various things. So he would ask them first to think about a stranger, then ask them to think about themselves, and ask them to think about themselves 10 years from now. And it's quite interesting because for some of the patients, the stranger and themselves were very, very different. Naturally, if you think about someone who is a stranger, who you don't really know, someone you don't have contact to, well, you're going to think about them in a certain type of way. And if you think about yourself, you're going to think quite differently about that person, about that self. Well, the thing is, Walter Mischel, he found out that many people, they think about their future selves, themselves in 5-10 years from now, as being complete strangers. In no way do they identify with the lives that they will be experiencing in the future. And so those who don't identify with their future selves, they are not so concerned about the consequences to their activities in this moment right now. So the more that you actually have a strong identification with not just you here right now, but the person that you're going to be in 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. That's going to alter the choices that you make in your life. So first of all, understanding the value of self-discipline and understanding that the life that you are going to experience is going to depend upon your self-discipline and your ability to control yourself and take conscious control over your lifestyle. So that's the first thing, understanding the value. Second is to have a strong goal in mind. I would like to share with you another story in this connection. For those of you who've seen or read Alice in Wonderland, you know that Alice, she's falling into this rabbit hole, and so she's wandering around in this quite intimidating place because it's a complete unfamiliar scene. You don't know what's left and what's right, what's up and what's down. The whole thing is very new and intimidating to little Alice. So as she wanders through Wonderland, then she comes upon this philosophical cat. And the philosophical cat, knows very well how to speak English. It's quite an extraordinary cat. So Alice asks this cat, where should I go? Which way should I turn? And the philosophical cat thinks for a moment and says, well, that depends on where you're going. Alice says, I don't know where I'm going. And then the cat lights up and says, well, in that case, it doesn't matter where you go. The same is very true for us. If we don't know where we're going with our lives, well, chances are we might just end up there. But if you know where you're going, if you have a strong goal in mind, then you will be able to detect when you're going astray. And you will be able to detect when you are progressing in the right direction. So if you have an inspiring goal somewhere out here in the future, and then you have little intermediate goals which you can tick off on a daily basis or a weekly basis or a monthly basis, so that you can see that you're actually progressing to that inspirational destination. So that's the second point. First, understanding the value, and second, having an inspiring goal in mind. And then third is execution. So self-discipline has two sides to it. Not doing what you want to do and doing what you don't want to do. So not doing what you want to do, well, that could be, for example, if you like to play video games or binge watch or overeat or something like that. Well, then you just calculate it, you plan it into your day. How is it that I will restrict myself today in a certain way in order to work on my willpower, which is located in my frontal lobes? So for example, today I am not going to, say, eat sugar, or today I'm not going to watch television. So that's restraining yourself, and then simultaneously then doing something that you don't want to do. And that could be exercising or taking a cold shower, getting up early in the morning, going for a run. Whatever you don't feel like doing, commit to that, and then do it on a daily basis. That will gradually build your self-discipline. So those are my 3 tips of how to develop self-discipline for those who need it the most. Thanks for watching.